The starship Aurora's light floated silently in the vast blackness of space. Stars glittered like distant diamonds in the cold silence of the void pressed against the hull. Lieutenant Mara Renshaw stood on the observation deck, her hands resting lightly on the railing. She stared at the uncharted planet below, a strange world of swirling green clouds and glowing rivers. Humanity had been exploring the frontier for decades, but Mara had the uneasy feeling that this world was unlike any other they had seen. Her team of explorers was quiet, each member focused on their instruments. The mission had been routine: scan planets for life, gather data, and report back to the colony. But the moment the Aurora's light entered the planet's orbit, alarms had begun to beep softly, signaling something unusual. Sensors detected movement, massive organic shapes moving across the surface. "They're too large to be animals," said Lieutenant Jaron Holt, Mara's second in command, his voice tense. "And they're moving with intelligence. Look at this pattern. It's deliberate." Mara leaned closer to the monitor, watching the shapes form strange lines and curves across the planet. Her mind raced. "We need to investigate. But carefully. No sudden movements. Let's see if we can communicate before we provoke anything." The landing craft descended through the clouds, shaking slightly as it pierced the planet's atmosphere. Mara's heart beat fast. She had faced danger before, but something about this world felt alive in a way she couldn't explain. When the craft touched down, the team quickly suited up and stepped onto the soft, glowing ground. The air was breathable, though heavy with a sweet, metallic scent. Towering figures emerged from the mist, tall, imposing beings with shimmering skin that reflected the light like liquid metal. They had no faces as humans knew them, only smooth, undulating surfaces and glowing eyes that seemed to pierce straight through Mara's thoughts. The Varel, as they would later be called, stood in a silent formation observing the humans. Jaron raised his weapon slightly. "They don't look friendly," he whispered. Mara held up her hand. "No," she said firmly. "We don't show fear. We show trust. Weapons down." Slowly, the Varel leader stepped forward, taller than the others, its glow intensifying. It made a low vibration sound, a language the ship's translator could not fully decipher. The vibration caused a strange resonance in Mara's chest, almost like a hum that made her bones feel alive. Mara took a deep breath. She had studied alien diplomacy extensively, but this was different. These creatures were unlike any species she had encountered. Their strength was obvious. Their intelligence was clear, and yet there was no aggression. Yet. Slowly, Mara stepped forward, keeping her hands visible. "Please," she said, her voice calm but strong. "We do not wish to harm you. We come in peace. If you don't harm me, I promise you will see the strength of humanity. I will bear you strong children, children who will honor life, build worlds, and grow with courage." The words sounded strange even to her own ears, but she hoped the sincerity would reach them. The Varel leader paused, tilting slightly as if considering. Its glow pulsed rhythmically. The rest of the Varel shifted, their forms vibrating like strings under tension. Jaron exhaled slowly. "She's crazy, or brave. Maybe both." Mara ignored him, focusing on the Varel leader. She lowered herself to one knee, a gesture of vulnerability. She wanted to show that humans were not threats. "We can share knowledge. We can grow together. Let us prove that we are more than warriors. Let us show that we are creators." The leader's glow dimmed slightly, and for a moment Mara thought it would attack. Then it did something unexpected. It lowered its weapon. Slowly. One long, silvery appendage reached downward. The air seemed to hold its breath, but Mara thought, sensing hesitation. She knew the danger was not over. The Varel were intelligent. Their decisions could change in an instant. She stayed still, her mind racing for what to do next. From the corner of her eye, Mara noticed small movements among the other Varel. They shifted, some stepping forward, some retreating. Their vibrations grew louder, creating a low hum that resonated through the ground. Mara realized that the Varel were communicating in a complex pattern, warning each other, deciding whether to trust or attack. She decided to show more than words. Mara signaled her team to lower their weapons completely. Then she slowly began to demonstrate human ingenuity, showing the Varel a portable hydroponic device that could grow food quickly, a small water purifier, and even a medical scanner. Each display was simple yet effective, showing care, knowledge, and cooperation. The Varel's glow shifted again, this time with curiosity. Some bent closer to inspect the human tools, their vibrations softening. One of the younger Varel, smaller and less imposing, reached out its appendage and touched the scanner. Mara smiled, holding her breath. This small act could mean friendship or betrayal, the Varel leader observed silently. Then it moved closer, hovering over Mara. She met its glowing eyes without flinching. Her pulse was fast, but her mind was calm. She repeated her message slowly, clearly. We do not wish to harm you. If you see the strength of humanity, you will understand. We build, we care, we create. Let us be friends. A long moment passed. The hum of the Varel vibrations filled the air. Then, a single unexpected act. The Varel leader touched Mara's hand lightly with its own appendage. It was a gesture of trust, of curiosity, of acknowledgement. Mara felt a warmth she had never known in space, a connection beyond words. Her team exhaled quietly, relief washing over them. Jaren let his weapon drop entirely, shaking his head in disbelief. I can't believe it. She did it. She actually did it. But Mara remained focused. She knew better than to assume victory. The Varel were intelligent, capable of sudden decisions. The danger was still present. She needed to maintain the balance to continue proving humanity's worth. Suddenly, a tremor shook the ground. The Varel stiffened. Mara looked up to see massive shapes moving in the distance. Unknown creatures larger than any Varel with glowing bodies that rippled through the atmosphere. Something was approaching, and it wasn't friendly. Mara turned to her team. Prepare yourselves. Whatever comes next, we must act together. We cannot falter now. This is our chance to show what humanity can do. The Varel leader raised its appendages again, but this time not in attack, more in a defensive posture. Mara realized that they too feared the approaching threat. For the first time, humans and Varel were united, not as enemies but as potential allies. Mara's heart raced. She had made a promise, taken a risk, and reached across the gap between species. Now the test of humanity's courage and ingenuity was about to begin. The universe was watching, and the outcome would define not just this encounter, but the future of human expansion and the bonds between worlds. As the shadows of the massive creatures grew closer, Mara whispered to herself, "We will show them. We will survive. We will build a future worth protecting." And then the first shadow touched the ground. The massive shadows loomed over the glowing terrain, stretching like dark fingers across the fields. The shapes were enormous, creatures made of energy and matter fused into forms that seemed alive and electric. Their movements rippled through the air, and the ground beneath the humans and Varel vibrated with each step. Mara felt a shiver run down her spine, but she held her stance. Fear had no place here, only focus. "We need a plan," Jaren said, his voice low but tense. "Those things are huge. Weapons won't stop them." Mara nodded. "We don't fight like they fight. We survive like humans survive. Observe, adapt, and act together. That's our advantage." The Varel leader observed the humans with its glowing eyes. Then almost imperceptibly it communicated with the other Varel through vibrations. Mara sensed the shift. A decision had been made. They would stand with the humans. Mara raised her hand to signal the team. "Listen carefully. We need to work with them. Follow my lead and trust me. Trust them too." The first creature stepped forward, and the air seemed to hum with power. Its body was made of pulsating light and flowing energy. It moved with curiosity, but also with a deadly force that could crush anything in its path. The Varel didn't attack. They formed a protective barrier around the humans, vibrating to create a force field. Mara realized the energy from the Varel interacted with the humans' technology. They could amplify each other. "We can use their vibrations to strengthen our shields," Mara said quickly. "Jaren, set the energy harmonizers to frequency 24. It should sync with their field." Jaren moved quickly, adjusting the controls. The Aurora's Light's portable harmonizers began to emit a soft pulse, and the Varel barrier shimmered brighter. The massive energy creatures hesitated, sensing a combined force that was stronger than they expected. "Good," Mara whispered. "Now we move." The humans and Varel advanced together. Mara carried a small device, a light emitter that could project holographic images of human children laughing and playing, a symbol of hope and life. She placed it on the ground and activated it. The images flickered across the terrain, glowing softly. The creatures paused, tilting their enormous forms to observe. They seemed curious, almost confused. Mara realized they had never encountered life in such a fragile, beautiful form. Human innocence and creativity were strange to them yet powerful. "Show them more," Mara said to the Varel leader. Using gestures and vibrations, the Varel echoed her message, projecting protective energy patterns around the holograms. The combination of human ingenuity and Varel strength created a mesmerizing display. The creatures roared, a sound that shook the ground, and then recoiled slightly. Mara saw her chance. "We need to guide them away from the planet," she said. "If we can lead them into the canyon fields, their energy will disperse and no one gets hurt." The team split into two groups. Mara led one, projecting lights and signals to attract the creatures' attention. The Varel used their vibrating fields to create corridors, guiding the energy being safely. It was a delicate dance. One misstep could spell disaster. As they moved, Mara's mind raced. She thought about the words she had spoken earlier. "Please don't harm me. If you don't, I'll bear you strong children." Those words had not been meaningless. They had opened a door. The creatures, powerful and terrifying, were not mindless. They could be influenced, guided, understood. Humanity's strength lay not in brute force, but in the courage to act with wisdom and hope. One of the massive creatures surged forward, ignoring the holograms. Mara raised her hand, signaling the Varel. Their barrier flared, and she could feel the energy coursing through her bones. The humans adjusted their harmonizers, and the combined force created a shimmering wave that nudged the creature toward the canyon. Slowly, it followed the path they had created. Hours passed in tense coordination. The humans and Varel worked together seamlessly, using observation, creativity, and courage to guide the creatures away from the planet. Each step was calculated, each move synchronized. Mara realized that this cooperation, this blending of human and alien ingenuity, was the true power of their species. At last, the last of the energy creatures disappeared into the canyon fields, leaving the planet safe. Mara fell to her knees, exhausted but triumphant. The Varel leader approached, lowering its appendages in a gesture of respect. The vibrations it sent through the ground were soft, almost like a song of approval. Mara smiled. "We did it," she whispered. Together, Jaren placed a hand on her shoulder. You really showed them. You showed the strength of humanity." The Varel leader extended an appendage, touching Mara's shoulder lightly. In that moment, a connection formed, not just of survival, but of understanding. Humanity had proven that courage, intelligence, and compassion could match strength and power. As the team returned to the landing craft, Mara looked back at the planet. She felt a deep sense of hope. The encounter had been dangerous, terrifying even, but it had shown her something important. Humans were capable of more than survival. They could inspire, they could teach, and they could unite even the most alien of species. Back on the Aurora's light, the team debriefed. Mara explained every step, every gesture, every display of ingenuity that had contributed to their success. The Varel communicated alongside them, sharing insights in vibrations and signals. It was a historic moment. First contact had evolved into cooperation. The news would spread throughout human colonies, a story of courage, trust, and creativity in the face of overwhelming odds. Mara thought about the children she had mentioned, the promise she had made. Humanity's legacy was not just in conquering worlds, it was in building and nurturing, in proving that life could thrive through courage and compassion. Days later, the Varel leader approached Mara again, this time with a simple gift, a crystalline structure that emitted soft vibrations. It was a symbol of partnership, a reminder that their bond was real. Mara accepted it, understanding its meaning. Trust had been earned, not given. Mara looked around at her team, the Varel, and the planet below. "This is just the beginning," she said. "There are countless worlds out there. Challenges we cannot imagine, but if we face them like this, together we will succeed. We will survive. We will build a future worth protecting." The Aurora's light lifted off, leaving the glowing planet behind. As it sailed into the endless expanse of space, Mara knew that humanity's true strength was not in weapons or numbers. It was in courage, in hope, and in the ability to act with wisdom even when fear threatened to paralyze. And somewhere, in the distance, the Varel watched the humans depart, a newfound respect forming in their minds. The galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary, a species that could inspire trust, guide allies, and stand unbroken in the face of unimaginable danger. Mara leaned on the railing once more, staring at the stars. Her heart swelled with pride and wonder. Humanity was capable of great things, things that no one could have predicted, and things that the universe would never forget. For the first time in a long while, Mara felt certain of one thing. The future belonged to those who dared to reach out, to trust, and to act with courage. Humanity had taken its first true step into a larger galaxy, and nothing could stop it now. The stars shimmered like a promise, and Mara whispered softly, "We will carry this forward, stronger than ever."